How's it going, everybody? We got some more magic for you today, and I am running a Boros Arabella deck. I do have this deck built for best of 3, though I'll probably only be playing best of 1 games for the video. But, so, just going over, this is obviously an Arabella focus deck. The focus of it is to get out a lot of power 2 or less creatures so that Arabella has the deal X damage and gain X life, where X is the number of 2 or less creatures you control. Arabella is a huge target. If people see it, they'll try and kill it right away. It does avoid Go for the Throat, which is a very common and frequently used removal spell, since it is an artifact, so you do have that going for you, but people will just try and remove anything else that they possibly can. We do have an okay amount of artifacts in this. So we have a Nimpakal, which creates the 1/1 gnome creature tokens. We have Novice Inspector, which creates the clue tokens, and let's see, we also have the Dollmaker's Shop, which creates the 1/1 toy tokens, all of which we can sacrifice to Gleeful Demolition to create 3 more creatures. So plenty of outlets for that, even without playing this as a 4 of, or this as a 4 of, which I could do, but I wanted to include more things in the deck, so I did add Midnight Mayhem into here. I love the little 1/1 gremlins, and the fact that they come in with lifelink on the turn that you play this is really nice. It's a little expensive considering you can do Gleeful Demolition, but the Gleeful Demolition doesn't get lifelink, and we've just got both in the deck anyway, so that's pretty fine. All of the different artifacts / tokens that we get from this deck also can be bargained with Torch the Tower. So Torch the Tower is phenomenal in this deck. You always, or very often, have an outlet for sacrificing to make it the 3 damage. For evasion, to kind of guarantee... Oh, we also have a Skrelv's Hive. If you have more of these, you could kind of switch in and out with these. Maybe go on with more Skrelv's Hive instead of, I don't know, remove some removal or something. I didn't want to play, or you could even do it instead of the Dollmaker Shop if you just don't have Dollmaker Shops. But the Porcelain Gallery outlet is just so good that I really feel like this is still better. But the Skrelv's Hive giving you a creature every turn, and it being an artifact, also enables bargain, enables Gleeful Demolition, things like that. So, very valuable card in this deck as well, and it's only a 2-drop, which is nice. The main benefit of why I even put a 1-of in it is so that we have a non-toy creature to attack pretty reliably every turn or every other turn to trigger the Dollmaker's Shop in case they're really heavy on removal for the rest of our creatures here. We also do have quite a bit of removal, obviously. Torch the Tower, Lightning Helix, also a little bit of life, along with Midnight Mayhem, and Get Lost, all perfect removal cards. In Red-White, Red-White has one of the strongest removal packages, in my opinion, right now. Probably one of my favorite color combinations to be playing right now, which is sad, because it's also really obnoxious. I am running a couple of Warden of the Inner Sky. Obviously, it synergizes very well with this deck where we're creating a lot of small creatures. However, it doesn't synergize the best with Arabella. But since people are so intent on killing Arabella, it is a good alternate win condition, like you're getting a big creature, getting something that can fly, potentially, and block for you. And then it's also a really high priority kill target, in my opinion, too. So people may waste their removal on the Warden, and then you get out an easy Arabella. A Nim is another really big priority kill target because it can flood the board so quickly. So people will focus on killing it pretty frequently. We do have evasion, things to help Arabella attack and not die. So we have 3 Norn. You could run it as a 4 of, you could run it as a 2 of. It's a legendary creature, so you can only have 1 on the battlefield at a time. I have it as a 3 of because even if you have 1 left in hand, it's not that big a deal because people will want to kill it to make sure you can't keep blinking your creatures. And being able to play another 1 for 1 mana at that point is pretty nice. But even if you don't have more backup in your hand, it's also really hard to get rid of, because as long as you keep the mana open to replay it or anything else that you attack with, it's pretty convenient. So you can have it attack with Arabella as long as you have the red and white mana to replay Arabella. She does not die. And then we also have Delny. Delny will double the triggers of all of your creatures, which can be relevant for things like Novice Inspector, Arabella, a Nympakal. I think that's it. I don't think anything else benefits from that ability, but the main, most important thing here is, let's see here. Creatures you control with power 2 or less can't be blocked by creatures with power 3 or greater. So with Delny out on the battlefield, you already have a really nice benefit of most of your creatures not being able to be blocked by anything larger than a 2 power. But that also makes it to where Arabella can't be blocked by anything big enough to kill it, because it has 3 toughness. So there is your evasion package in this deck. As I said, I built this for best of 3. We are running 24 land, which in my opinion is a little high for a aggro token kind of deck like this is. But the sideboard I've built really heavily takes advantage of the fact that you could easily turn this into like a Boros control type deck. So I've got 4 Caretaker's Talents, 2 Sunfall, 3 Overlord of the Mistmoors, 3 Rest in Peace, and 3 High Noon. So if you are playing and you see that you're going up against a lot of graveyard stuff like Orzhov, Reanimator, or something along those lines, you can use Rest in Peace. If you're up against a really heavily aggro deck, or a deck that you think is going to try and just keep you off board, like a control deck, then what you can do is you can just swap in basically your whole sideboard and play token control instead of playing an aggressive creature-focused deck. And that can really mess with people, because they might sideboard into something thinking that you're going to be a really creature-heavy, aggressive deck, and then all of a sudden now you're a control deck, and that can really flip the script on people. It's very fun and pretty much exclusively doable because this is in one of the strongest color combinations. You can see there's not a lot of red stuff in the sideboard here. There aren't a lot of red cards that I would put in this for token control, except for potentially Urbrask's Forge. But Urbrask's Forge only works well with Arabella for maybe like 1 or 2 turns. I will say it works fantastically, though, with Dollmaker's Shop, and I do have a Boros token control deck that I'll be uploading as well. But anyway, I'll go ahead and start getting into games, show off this deck. I'm probably only going to go for like 3 wins for the video, and I'll be playing best of 1, because I don't like playing best of 3 for videos. It doesn't showcase it against a variety of different things very well. But we'll see what we can get. Looks like a perfectly acceptable opening hand here. Would like to see something that we could sacrifice for the Gleeful Demolition aside from Arabella, but we'll see how that goes. It's too bad Gleeful Demolition's a sorcery speed option. It would be really nice to be able to... Oh, there's something perfect to sacrifice for Gleeful Demolition, so we'll do that this turn. Let's go ahead, play Arabella, play Gleeful. Don't really need more land here. Don't want to really get the Warden above 2 power. Let's go ahead and get Delny out. That's going to be a lot of fun right away. Good 12 damage off Arabella's trigger. And their best option for survival here now is to double block Arabella, which they aren't doing. Yep. So easy win in game 1. A lot of fun. That was a really great way to showcase how this can work. Turn 1 went for Warden. Turn 2 went for Arabella. They used Get Lost and fueled us with some map tokens, which we were able to use on Gleeful Demolition, replay Arabella. And then Delny to double the triggers, hitting for 12 damage with Arabella's ability before combat damage. Like I said, their best option for survival at this point, honestly, like the only way that they could have won at this point probably was to double block Arabella. Now and then they still would have taken 5. So yeah, no, they were pretty hurt here. They could do these blocks, still take 3, survive, and then maybe if they had a temporary lockdown. But then I still have Delny, which I think would have finished them off, because Delny's a 2-drop, or a 3-drop, meaning it won't get taken by temporary lockdown. They wouldn't have had enough mana for a Sunfall if that's what they were going to go for. And, yeah, I think that would have kind of handily dealt with things. But that was very fun. A really quick one. You can see, like, the focus of this deck from that match, so I'm pretty happy. Alright, coming into game 2, got a very good looking hand again. I wish we had a 1-drop with one of our clue token generators, but I think this is still perfectly fine. Sadly, with the Dollmaker Shop, Arabella does not trigger its ability. Not that we have it in hand right now, but that's the one thing that really disappoints me in this deck and why I'm not running more toys. Because the 2-1 toy that draws you cards is really nice too. What I try to do as few toys as possible for the fact that I want to be able to trigger Arabella as often as possible. Went straight to killing our enchantment, which is sad. But we can do this, which is pretty nice. It got removal out of the way that could have potentially hurt Arabella, so that's actually pretty nice. We do have removal with Lightning Helix, and we have backup Arabella if we need it. A bunch of 1/1s aren't particularly scary at the moment. Right now we have a good option of potentially blowing out whatever they block with the Lightning Helix. Unless they block with everything, which would be pretty funny. Okay, so that being the case, we just Helix one of them. Alright, game 2, another easy win. They were pretty slow for a rabbit deck, in my opinion, but we also just had a really good opening there. Another good benefit of Arabella is we're up to 35 life now. Of course, I also Lightning Helixed, but I mean, that's just crazy. And I didn't have Delny out to double the triggers. I just got to attack twice, and it was that damaging. Had a replacement Arabella if he had decided to block all, so worst case scenario, we deal with that, but I figured with the Lightning Helix we'd have an easy blowout if he just tried to block with 3. Yes, he still had 1 remaining token, but honestly, that was pretty great. Next turn we could attack all if we wanted to, potentially. Still had another Lightning Helix, still had another Arabella. So, very fun. Very, very fun. I'll go ahead and record one more win with this, but already, that's 2-0 in best of 1. against pretty decent decks. Mono White Control is the best that I can guess what our previous match was, and it just wasn't able to keep up. And then Selesnya Rabbits is really strong in best of one right now because not everybody's running like the board wipe to try and slow them down to survive. It goes very wide where Mono Red goes very like singular and big. So yeah, but anyway, this was a very fun match. I'm glad that this deck is showing well for the video. Very different kind of opening hand here, but we'll give it a go. We're still going first, and this plus Dollmaker's Shop is pretty good. That's fairly unfortunate, but we do get to manifest now, which is pretty nice. So we still have a creature, we just can't attack this turn. Honestly, I probably still just play another Dollmaker's Shop here. Okay. Definitely the Dollmaker's Shop. Could keep up removal, but I don't think we need it. I think I'm gonna go ahead and just go Novice Inspector. We've got Get Lost. Okay, so this will be a real easy option here. This is gonna exile the annoying Enduring. Now we've got a card draw, or if they go for a what's it called? A Caretaker's Talent, we can get rid of that. I don't know what's making the chunk noise, but I really hate that noise on this map. I think we go ahead and get rid of this, though I do wish I had a better option. But I don't want them to have it as a blocker. They could go for Sunfall next turn, which would be pretty disappointing. Arabella. Oh, that's fantastic Manifest Dread, actually. If they don't have the Sunfall, they're destroyed here. Yeah, so we just win. It doesn't even matter if they get rid of Arabella at this point. Not having that Sunfall means it's just over. If you order those triggers differently, you can get the bonus damage from Arabella, but I did not, so. So a very fun, very good clean sweep here. Obviously it was risky going for the Arabella flip and the Phyrexian goblins, whatever. Going for the Gleeful Demolition there instead of holding it back. And then flipping the Arabella when I did was unnecessary, so there's some misplays there. What I probably should have done is held on to the goblins, the Gleeful Demolition, until after S-off the opponent had a Sunfall, and then as well as that I could have kept Arabella face down until I went for the attack. Also, if you order those triggers properly with the Dollmaker's Shop, you can make the Dollmaker's Shop triggers happen first. Then it'll pump Arabella's power by the dolls that come in for even more damage on the flip, or on the ability. So some misplays there, but honestly, it really didn't matter. They didn't have the board wipe, which temporary lockdown's very strong against this deck, unfortunately, I will say that. But yeah, absolutely demolished a 3-0 clean sweep against 3 different decks. It looks like this one also was just like a mono-white token control. So somewhat similar to the first match, but this one at least did some different stuff. Having the Torch to the Tower for the Enduring Innocence, the first one that came out, was really nice. But like I said, Boros has one of the strongest removal packages right now. You've got Temporary Lockdown, which I don't tend to use, but it is very good. You've got Sunfall. You've got Torch the Tower. You've got Lightning Helix. And you also have Brotherhood's End, if you want it for dealing with artifact decks and stuff too. So anyway though, very good showcase of this deck, very quick video, but I hope you guys all enjoy this. It's very fun in best of 1, and like I said, with the sideboard I've got, you can really mess with people in best of 3.